Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. My name is Mirella,
And I'm Zoe.
and today we're going to talk about episode 9 of Cooking Crush. So, funny thing, there was no Scrabbles.
There
What do
was
you think about it?
there was no Scrabble, and yet I still loved the episode. So I
We
mean,
are wrong about everything.
we are,
Every-
or maybe it's just I feel like Offgun like to do things their own way. Like they just do. You know what I mean? It's like
I know.
it's their brand at this point. They just
This series is just different.
yeah, it
It's
definitely
just
is.
different. It's very unexpected. It feels original and just fresh somehow. Very fresh.
And I found that
So,
the episode this week, I found it very healing after
yeah.
a somewhat disappointing week. It was quite a healing experience. So I really thankful for that for this episode.
It was. I love this episode.
Mm.
So, what do you think? Did he know what happened to him? Because we were talking last time and you said he didn't know what happened to him, and I said he did know what happened.
I can hear this smile in your voice, like you're like, I was right.
Chris was right.
What'd you say?
You should get used to it. To the fact that I'm
Oh,
almost always right, unless I'm wrong.
You're just
When I'm wrong, I'm really wrong.
You're just lucky that you're so far away from me right now. It's all right. I only kill with kindness, but yeah. Look, I feel like he's the sort of character that either I'm gonna light you on fire here, that either of us could have been right in our arguments because he no at the beginning of this episode he is still like you can see he's contemplating, like while he's struggling he's contemplating like what's just happened, what's going on. Prem starts talking to him and offering comfort, and it's that I feel like he's processing everything. So then when he says to us, or not us, but like to Prem, like what he was feeling, what he was going through, and how like why it affected him the way it did and stuff like that. I don't necessarily know or agree that in the moment that we were talking about last episode, he had that realization of his self. I feel like it could possibly have been something that we sort of see him going through those motions as well. So I think we both could be right is my answer. I'm not, what do you
Of
call it?
course, of course.
I'm
What
not,
else are you going to say?
I'm not accepting
Who is
defeat on this
surprised?
one.
Please raise your hand if you're surprised.
Oh, bite me.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hang on.
So,
It's Cooking Crush, so maybe I should say eat me.
okay. You're lucky you're far away. I'd take a bite. I must praise Op's performance here
Oh my
because
god, he was
Chan's
amazing.
expression, yes, Chan's expression when he finds out that she's okay, that he saved her, is is so good. It's just
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, this feeling this feeling of relief that he has, it's just, oh my god, he's become such an amazing actor. I'm so impressed. It's just, yeah, it's really, really good. The beginning of this episode was just, yeah.
It reminded me of the beginning of episode 8 of Not Me, when they also had that moment, that intimate moment of Sean opening up and White being there for him and supporting him. I liked when Prem said the world is not cruel to you. It's like another way of saying that there's always something to look forward to. There's always hope. Like
Yeah.
it's not all bad. It's after something bad happens, it doesn't always just go down and
Yeah.
doesn't always get worse. It's
Yeah.
the world
And
is not against you.
I feel like it's, as I mean, maybe not necessarily what's being said here, but I think it's always important to note as well that, like, I feel like when bad things happen to us as people, like how bad they are depends on how we ride the wave. You know what I mean? Like how we interpret that moment. And like some people can have the worst day of their life and they come out of it like not smiling, but like with a mindset that, you know, this is not the worst it's ever going to be. You know, like but also things can get better. Like, and so,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have other people who can just never move past that moment. Like they are locked in that moment for, you know, months, years, whatever. And I feel like it's a mindset thing. So I kind of liked this conversation from that perspective as well, although it's not really mentioned in that way. I feel like it has the same sort of vibe and understanding that, like, because of the way Prem describes it, like he says, you know, like about how Faye would not be that cruel, and like maybe, you know, he's been sent this person who resembles his mother, and you know, like this is so the way he's looking at it is a really positive way. Like you could look at it a bunch of different ways, because I feel I'm a little bit worried about all of this, and I'll get to what the why of that in a little bit. But what I wanted to say about this scene was, as amazed as I was by it and everything, I kept getting distracted in this scene because they're having this really deep moment and really serious moment, and they're still calling each other Doc and Chef. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it because it's like at this point they're like endearments or pet names for each other. But I kind of also want to have them use their actual names with each other. Like I'm like, why am I like this? And so of course
I think I
was,
said that at some point during our podcast that I want them to say their actual names because I will feel like a different level of intimacy between them.
Yeah, because it began like they started out with the whole Doc Chef thing when they didn't really know each other, and it was kind of just like a cute way of addressing each other. Now when they say it, it's like you can feel the like as I said, like the endearment behind it and everything. You know, instead of calling each other sweetie, babe, or dear, or whatever they're using their their monikers, I guess. But like, I would just really love for to hear Prem call him, like, I'm assuming that he is a P10. Although no, isn't Prem meant to be older? Do you know? I vaguely remember something like that in the book. Prem is older than 10.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, or please be there in the somewhere storyline where like off calls gun P Prem. I've decided that I now need this to live. But okay, so after the longevity of that, this thing happened to me while I was watching this scene. You know, when the nurse comes out and like he has this whole relief moment. You know, she's okay, but in actual fact, she's awake rather. But what the actual nurse says is she doesn't actually say that she's okay. She says she's safe now.
Yeah.
And then I'm wondering what's wrong with her, because we know she had some sort of inhaler medication, and I'm an asthmatic, so I know a fair bit about inhalers and stuff like that. But I also know that like asthma is not the only illness that uses an inhaler. Obviously, it's the most well-known, most common one, and also asthma is like the response that her and the doctor give 10 when he asks if she's okay now is like
preparing him.
Yeah, because you could, you know, like what she says to him works with asthma as well. Because, like, I mean, I probably, you know, eventually, hopefully, one day, very, very far away in the future, when I'm old, asthma was the thing that will probably get me, because, you know, that's just what happens when you have it as an adult. And so it's like her response of, you know, we can't promise, it's an uncertain thing, kind of thing that she says to him is true for someone who has asthma, because some people can have it and it's very like not that serious, and then other people have it and it's quite serious and quite chronic, and mine is fairly serious, so it's a little bit scary sometimes. But it's not just used for that, like it's used for all sorts of things. People with cystic fibrosis use it. Some people just get it when they have a bad cold, but like the biggest other one is like COPD, which is like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, so like a major issue with your lungs. And it's like life threatening, but it's like a long term, like ongoing struggle. Same with things like lung cancers and things like that. So I felt like the weightedness in their conversation, like the look that they shared and all that, like maybe she has something more serious, and this is like a management thing and not a solution thing. So my takeaway from that was, I hope she doesn't die, because that would be so cruel. But she also says, the other thing that she said that that scared me was, she said, "I'm not dead yet."
Mm-hmm.
Like, because to me that implies she's dying. You know what I mean? Like, but then aren't we all, like, every day we get older, we are technically.
Yeah, it's kind of
She,
cruel because what Prem says here is you can save her this time, and then he goes to her, and what she says is that just what all that we can do is try our best, but nothing is certain.
and she sort of said,
So
she does sort of say to him that she does agree with that she wouldn't necessarily be here in this moment without him. Like,
yeah.
she probably wouldn't be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be there tomorrow, So I'm kind of curious to see whether they do anything with this, because they had a really interesting moment with death dying, like this foreshadowing thing in the early days of Last Twilight with the professor, or the, what
Mm-hmm.
was he a professor, or was he a student advisor or something like that? I don't
Something
really
like
know what he
this.
was.
Yes, yeah.
When Day wanted to drop out of university, and he told his story about how he had like lung cancer or something. I'm maybe wrong. I'm pretty sure it was lung cancer. And so
It was liver
liver
leisures.
cancer, liver lesions or something or something. Yeah, you're right.
Lesions, yeah.
And it's like, at the time I was like, oh, what if they kill him, because this was someone clearly he admired, and that would further implications in the story. And of course they just left it and dropped it and never
Yeah.
addressed it again. And I'm curious to see if that's what's going to happen here, because there seems to be like these huge moments of foreshadowing, like both in what she's saying, in his reaction to what she's saying, because like he gets this look on his face, like I felt like he understood what she was saying, that this was more serious than he realized, and that,
Mm-hmm.
while he didn't save her, she's alive in this moment because of him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and because she says to him, like, take that look off your face or something like that, she says. And but just this weightedness between her and the other doctors just seemed to have this like foreshadowing for the future. So, and as you said, what Prem said to him about, this time, and yeah, so I'm worried. Oh, I'm curious to see, because what are we, episode 9? If this is 12 episodes, there's only 3 episodes left, so there's not a huge amount of story, like time to do a huge amount of storytelling left. And they have potentially 3 or 4 really good veins of like storyline happening at this moment, if you include this one. You have,
I wonder, like, if she dies and he feels like he couldn't save her, what if the dad steps in and comforts him and is like, yeah, you just couldn't do anything.
yeah, maybe
Because right
it
now
could
he's like,
be, yeah, it could be a way for them to bond, I guess, because at this point in time I can't see how they're going to fix that relationship, because as I said,
mhm,
three episodes left, and we've got their relationship. We've got obviously Ten and Prems. We've got this competition, which does look like it's going to be maybe semi-resolved, perhaps next episode. We've got Fire and Dynamite, and there has to be something obviously with Fire's mother, because otherwise, why all of this, stuff that we've had? And then, and then the surprise of the show, which we'll get to later. There's potentially a bunch of different, like maybe 4 or 5 main plots, like stories that are
mhm,
going at the same time, and only 3 episodes to do it in. Um, and it's really interesting, because I know we spoke about this just sort of off the podcast, where we were saying like, they've done a really good job in this show of like making you want to see all of the storylines, like all of the characters' arcs, because
yeah,
normally in a show like this, like maybe you'll like the secondary couple or something, but if they start to insert a third couple or like something else that's like you just don't care, because you want to see more of your
mhm,
favorites or like whatever. But
mhm,
I literally want to see everything in this. Like, I am loving every aspect of this, even the kooky
mhm,
and the canny. Like, I'm like, yes, please give me more. So I'm a little bit concerned how they're going to do it in the 3 episodes we have left. Like, if this was like
mhm.
16 episodes or 14 episodes, even, I could imagine, yeah, we can do this. But 12 episodes, I'm a little bit. I mean, I guess we're probably going to get a time jump, maybe. I don't know. It seems to be the all the rage at the moment to do a time jump, but I kind of like, I don't know. I just really I'm not quite sure how they'll fit it all in. So that this may be a moment where it's not something that gets factored in. Um, but I did like that what they teased here about this whole idea of, like, you just because you save someone today doesn't mean you necessarily have saved them, but that's, you've given them another day, which is, in the medical profession, sometimes all you can do. Like, you just have to concentrate on that moment, and then
Mm-hmm.
if you can, then you can heal further. But like, if all you can do is that day, then you give them a chance to say goodbye, you give them a chance to, make peace, or you just do the best that you absolutely can, like, because ultimately what you want is to save them, to heal them completely. But there's just so much about the human body that we still don't know, and it's not always possible.
Yes, and then we have three storylines, three things happening at the same time. Fire, Fire is chasing Dynamite. Prem is with Ten, who doesn't want to let him go, and Meta with some C, waiting for everyone to arrive at the restaurant.
We have, in the first part, we have the reveal of Fire and Dynamite's origins, which is really cute, and it's like, you can understand why like a young Dynamite would have been sort of like my hero, um and why he was so like confident in his feelings and everything in the beginning of the series, where like, without this information, it kind of seemed like, because you just in my mind at the time, I was just imagining that like he had just run into Fire, or like seen him across the university and went, oh yeah, he's hot, he'll do, and then kind of was slightly obsessive about it. But I should have known better, because Dynamite is a very interesting character who has this, like, we've talked about it a bunch, this like maturity to him that is very surprising at times, but also like, it's like this quiet consideration that he does. So even though he seems erratic and he seems like over the top or a little extreme and stuff like that, he's just, that's his youth, I think, and his passion coming out. Whereas he's actually had to, I think, grow up because of situations, because he's ahead of himself, like ahead of himself a little bit, and so it makes sense
He
that
had to
he.
toughen up. He
So
had to toughen up and learn to
yeah,
adapt fast in order to survive,
yeah, that's right.
in
Especially when
order
you're,
to stay
yeah,
afloat.
when you're surrounded by older people, or like you're out of your element a little bit. He's had to do that, and I feel like there's some careful consideration in that as well. And so it makes sense that the reason why he picked Fire was because Fire had shown him this side of himself that was impressive and made him feel safe, and like it wasn't just because he thought he was cute or like whatever. So I really liked that they had a little origin story.
Me too. Now it feels like that happened, and then time passed, Dynamite remembered Fire, and then somewhere before, like around the moment when the series started showing us their lives, he found him,
Yeah,
and he decided to show his friends that he, here is here's the love of my life.
yeah.
And then
This is
fate
my
just can
hero.
bring them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, but he I think he had in this picture in his mind, like, what we can kind of get from their storyline to this point is that he had this picture in his mind that like Fire was kind of his hero, and so he romanticized him a little bit, and so like his pursuing of him was like, I think I mentioned it before, like a little bit of like peacocking, where he's like, look at me, I'm here, but also
Hmm.
because when they did run into each other, Fire didn't remember Dynamite, so he had to like, make an impression on him this time. And so I feel like the way he was a little bit over the top was partly because of that. This way, like Fire wasn't going to be able to ignore him or forget him again. And then we had, which is exactly what happened, really. But then when Dynamite sort of realized that maybe he was, maybe there were reasons for the way Fire was like backing away or ignoring him or whatever. So
Hmm.
he backed away, because that is, once again, the mature thing to do. Um, and of course, yeah. But so we got some really good scenes in this, where we like the bit like where they leave at the like they where they're at the market and they're about to go home or whatever, or back to the restaurant, and Dynamite gets on the bike and leaves. Leaves Fire standing there. Fire's like, wait, what? Um, and when he
But
comes, yeah,
his face when Dynamite
yes,
left, when he came back, he was melting.
yeah, he like lit up, like someone had turned it, like reached inside him and turned a switch on when Dynamite came back. He was just so happy. And then it was really funny because it was really cute and sort of sweet and funny there. And then like we switched to Samsey and Metha in Samsey's parents' restaurant, and Metha wants to eat, and Samsey's like, no, we should wait for our friends, kind of thing.
I'm just, their moments in this episode made me scream. Like that, I was the happiest. I was so happy and excited. They're like the highlight of the episode to me, even though all the other things
Yeah,
happened, which were very interesting and fun. But oh my god, their scenes, I loved it.
yeah.
But I sent you screaming messages, I think, or like caps lock. Is this really happening?
Yeah,
I
because I
want it
remember
so bad.
yeah, I remember sending you a voice message saying, I really want this, I need this to happen now, and you all caps back, yes, me too. But yeah, so because it's just so funny, like I feel like in this first beginning part we see, like they have this thing where they bicker like an old married couple almost, and Mether is like living to mess with Samsey. Like he just takes so much pleasure
But
out of it.
I think like right in this moment we saw them understanding each other, and we understood them better as people. We saw that they're both um, they both caring people. They're both waiting. They're both there, even though like they don't really get along that well. They're waiting for the friends. What Meta saw in that moment was that Samsi is a very dedicated and devoted person. He's very devoted to his friends. He is true to his word.
Yes.
And what we saw about Meta is that even though he also cares about his friends, he loves them. He does not take things that close to his heart.
Yeah,
He's
like
not that serious about it. He
yeah,
can
because
let go.
it's like he's like I feel like there's two things happening here. I feel like one, he's a bit more relaxed than Sam C, obviously, but it's also I feel like Mather is maybe a little bit better at reading people because he's just like he keeps saying to Sam C, they're not coming back. Like he's like they're off together, like getting it on or whatever. Like he's aware of the fact that both of his friends are like so down bad for these two other boys that like if they're all missing it's because they've forgotten about us. Like let's just eat. Like he has this like insight into the relationship, but he also knows more about what's going on, I think.
Even though they were both in the same situation abandoned by their friends, I'm not sure he knows more about this situation or about what's happening right now. But their reactions are very different.
Yeah.
And like Samsi is irritated. He's like, where are my friends? He's trying to call them. Like he's trying to get them to come, while Metha is trying to play with him to, make him eat. He's teasing him. They actually complement each other very well. If once they start to get along, they will complement each other very well.
I think so.
Either as a couple or as friends, they will just be they'll be good for each other.
You could just go ahead and say, I feel like at this point in time, if nothing else, there's a very interesting bromance happening.
Is it a bromance though? Because there are some scenes there.
Oh no,
like,
but I mean,
don't
like at this point in time, like you could say
at this point.
comfortably that there's a nice bromance happening. Later on, it spins the story differently. Yeah. So it's funny. So because we have this scene with them, and then we go back to Fire and Dynamite, and we get the reveal that they met during the first year of university, and Dynamite does this weird thing where he pretends that the bike needs no fuel, like needs fuel or something. So it's weird. It's like he wants to have this confrontation while it's still them. But it's so funny because
he's giving Fire time to convince him.
Yeah.
He's giving him time to clarify everything and come clean and be honest.
Yeah.
And to like
be brave.
Have that courage. Yeah, exactly, to be brave. He's giving him a chance.
It's so funny because at the beginning of their scenes in this episode, like you can tell that like Dynamite is a little bit impressed that Fire is sort of appears to be chasing him, but also he's still pissed off. Like he's making him work for it, which I really appreciated because I wanted him to do that. I feel like he at least deserved that, to make Fire work for it. And So yeah, that's what he's doing. But it's like when they first are leaving the market, it's like he's pissed off at him, and he's just like, yeah. But it's like the longer he's in Fire's company, the more he's worn down, so that he gets to this point where he's like, all right, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna hear him out, I'm gonna give him a chance to explain himself, and we'll see what happens after that. And so we have that scene where Dynamite's like, you know, you forgot me, sort of thing. And so they sort of start talking about all of that. And but then we have Fire, who says, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't think I got the exact quote, you have no idea how much courage I have to have just to be here, like right now, because he's in a different, completely different place in his journey of acceptance of who he is sexually and things like that than Dynamite is. Obviously Dynamite is very happy in his own skin. He's been through, you know, the hard moments, or at least some of the big hard moments already. And once again, his leaps and bounds above his peers. And Fire, he's stumbling around like a Giselle, like he's like a baby deer. He's just trying to get his legs under him, you know, like he's just like, but it's really but he's very earnest about it, you know, like, and so it's so funny though, because when they sort of like start to flip and are kind of flirting and stuff, and I love what Fire says to him, something about like he
He had
aligns
no
it to
fuel.
he aligns it to the bike, what happened with the bike, and he said, I didn't really understand it, like I don't, because he said, I don't understand why I'm like this, why I need to be around you, why I feel like this. He's like, but it took me a while to get it, but like he said, I'm like the bike, you know, I was like empty, and you've like added fuel to
He
the
had
fire.
no fuel, and I added fuel to his fire.
That's right. And it's interesting because basically what he's saying here is that, like, you know,
He's
he
giving
had,
him courage.
yeah, he had, and he was like stagnated. He had no purpose. He was just like going with the flow, wasn't like really thinking about making choices for himself, or like you can encompass it in a bunch of different ways. And but like Dynamite is like has given him this like burning desire and reason to, you know, be brave, essentially. um but it's so funny though, because when Fire is becoming bold or whatever, Dynamite gets so flustered by him. They're
It's
very,
very
very
cute.
cute. They're very, very cute.
Very cute. Very cute. The way Dynamite smiles when he gets a confession. He's so happy. And then
Yes,
the question, "What were you going to do with me?" It killed me.
I know, right? I'm just
It's
like,
another
but
great
when
phrase.
they got like you know, the kiss that didn't happen, it's funny because I
Yeah.
wonder if we'll actually get a kiss, because I know that the actor who plays Dynamite is a little bit younger, so um I'm not sure if they'll go that way, or we'll just get a bunch of like almost kisses. But it was still really, really cute. Like it was just very, very cute. um and they actually have a really good chemistry. Like if they're shopping for partnerships for Neo, now that I feel like Lewis is maybe into his music or something, I like this pairing. I think it's really sweet.
They work, yeah.
Yeah.
They
So
work well.
they do. And then it's funny, we go back then to Ten and Prem, and it's so funny because they're essentially still at the hospital. And this is when Prem gets the phone call from Sansi, basically saying, "Where are you? We're about to have hot pot or whatever." And he says he's with Ten, and so he gets invited, and Ten basically says that he is tired and wants to go home. And so Prem, you can see Prem, like his face is just like, okay, he takes it totally personally. Because it's interesting. I remember thinking, or I remember saying at the end of the last episode, the way he kind of just appeared when Ten needed him, like with this big traumatic thing that's just happened. He just was there at the hospital, but like it seems like before that, and before Ten had gone back to the hospital, that they had gone their separate ways. So I was trying, I think I said something about like, I wonder how he ended up there. Like, did he get a call? Did he whatever? But now I'm wondering, like, maybe he just never left because he wanted an answer to his question, which was,
Can we not be apart anymore? Yeah, the
yes,
question was still open. I was
yeah,
wondering, the last podcast was the question. I thought that, what happened next, like that intimate moment was like a
kind of an
response,
answer.
but I guess,
Mm.
yeah, but I guess it makes sense. Yeah, they needed to talk about it. And I like how they, once Bram gets the answer from 10, which is kind of abrupt that he's not coming, they talk. It
Yeah.
feels like them again, the masters of communication.
Because he has this moment where he feels rejected for a second, but then of course 10 is
Yeah.
like, I want you to come, come home with me, sort of thing. So
10 is like, how are you doing?
yeah, exactly.
It's funny. It's so interesting how they played some C waiting for them for comedic purposes here. And you do not think too much about it because you're focused on what's happening with Ten and Prem and Fire and Dynamite. And the moments with Sam C and Meta here are kind of like, until the moment that is like happens. You're kind of waiting for them to be over and to jump to the next scenes to see where Prem and Ten are going, what's happening with Fire, blah.
Yeah.
But even though it's for comedic purposes, it goes somewhere, and he blows up in the end. It blows up into their faces in the end, and you do not expect it really,
Mm-mm-mm.
at
But
least not at this point.
no, I was just like, because we had, as I said, we had the whole bit with 10 basically telling Prime he wanted to go home with him. And then we went back to Dynamite and see, not Dynamite and see, Jesus, Dynamite and Fire. And there, this is where the actual almost kiss thing happens, I think, actually. Um, but it's so funny because I put a note in here, because as I said, you were right, we kept going back and forth between these scenes. And in this moment as well, I got distracted again before we before we went back to 10 and Prem and then back to Samsi and Metha. I got distracted because I was just like, they basically agreed to be boyfriends, like in this scene, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe they got together as boyfriends before 10 and Prem. Like, it's just like 10 and Prem have basically all but played Scrabble many times. Like
Uh-huh.
anytime they're alone in a room together, they're trying to play Scrabble. Like either 10 or Prem has already got the board out. Like they're ready to go. They're just, sorting the
I
tiles.
feel like
And
I feel like with Pram and Tam, it's they take their relationship very, very seriously. Like
mm-mm-mm.
once they say they're boyfriends, it's like they're married already.
Yeah, well, that's
They
that.
just
I feel that, but I also just think that they really, really like each other. Just not only like in that way, like where they're very taking it very seriously, but also like
Mhm.
they really want to play Scrabble. And so like when they are alone and they should be
Mhm.
having conversations, sometimes it doesn't
Mhm.
happen because they're too busy trying to play Scrabble. Like it's just like they're like, no, this is not the time, but they just it happens anyway because like they want to play
We
with
named
words.
we named our last podcast Scrabble Anticipation, but I feel like this one should have been the Scrabble Anticipation because they just that's all that they
I
can
feel
think
like this
about.
podcast has to be like, what? There was no Scrabble? Where's the Scrabble? It's funny though because they talk about the Scrabble and they basically agree to do the Scrabble later. So I feel like we will get Scrabble eventually, but like not until after the cooking competition. So, and I guess it depends on what else gets thrown at them in the storyline. But I can't imagine that they've been like they keep throwing each other around the place all over the place. So much of the mouths and the hands and the touching and they never get around to playing Scrabble would just be weird at this point. Anyway,
Yep.
but if we go back to
They're
if we go
stargazing.
oh no, before that, let's go back to Dynamite and Fire because um I just like I was just like, please, the way Fire says, like Dynamite makes him call him this like pet name, which is basically my, or I'm assuming what they're going for is actually like mine, I guess. And
No, it was Firefly and Dynamite. This is
no, no,
why.
oh okay, yeah, but he kept saying my, yeah, my, yeah. Anyway,
Dynamite.
and so, but the way he gets him to do it, and he's all like, um I guess like gleeful about it. And Fire says to him, do you want to make me a submissive from day one? right, of their relationship. But like when he says it, he has this look on his face, like this huge smile, like he's like, yeah, let's do this. It was just really cute because he's just like, we can do whatever you want.
It's so cute.
It was so
I was not.
cute.
I like this fire so much. I was not. I was not expecting this. I mean, I should have expected, but it comes off as a surprise still. The way he does it,
I
anyway.
have never seen Neo play this sort of character before, so I was definitely being surprised, and I'm
I'm
loving it. Like
enjoying this so much.
yeah, he's doing such a good job. Like I'm having so much fun with them. They're so sweet and
Mhm.
cute, and it's just yeah. And then we switch back to Ten and Prem, and Ten is so smooth. He's got the AirPods. He's got the AirPods out. You know, they're listening to music, they're stargazing. Shout out to Spotify as the sponsor for this episode because we get a nice close up of the app. Playing a Chris song, which actually I really liked that song. I need to find the name and put it on my. I'm sure if I ask Spotify, they'll recommend it to me. But yeah, they have this like nice little kind of stargazing moment where
And Tan declares that he won't let them be apart anymore. He's going to
yes,
listen to his heart and not his brain.
that's right.
I really liked the way Prem responded, the way he described himself. Like, this is what I am, and it's all yours. I
Mm.
like to make like I'm a simple person, and uh this is a simple feeling that consumes me, and I am like dedicated to.
Yes.
It's
And
really sincere and honest and direct somehow, and really endearing.
it is. It's really nice. And the other thing with it as well that I really liked about this scene is this is the scene where we get the almost Scrabble. Like they both want
Hmm.
it. Ten is feeling a little bit more like eager to pull out the Scrabble board, but Prem is like, if I do this, then it's gonna distract me, which is
It's
probably
so
true.
funny because he keeps trying to stay like focused,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like they're trying to make a point that he's trying so hard to actually stay focused. And then when that moment with Sam C happens, like we cannot blame Prem because he again and again and again he is choosing to be with his
Try and
friends,
do
to
the right thing.
try to come
Yeah.
back to them. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's trying to be mature and like because a huge part of what's the reason why they are where they are now is obviously Ten's father, the way he spoke
Mhm.
to him, so now he feels like he has something to prove, and the fact that Ten made
His
that decision.
conversation with his grandmother as well.
Yeah, that's right too. And then also this conversation that he had with Ten, where Ten basically decided that they needed to take this time so that they could get back on track. And like,
Hmm.
I guess probably from Prem's point of view, he's struggling. He has been struggling a lot with that because he missed him so much, and he, like he's being preoccupied by thinking about him and by all this other stuff. So I feel like he probably feels like if we get any deeper in than we already are, even though they want to get deeper in, like this whole ultimately is about them being closer and not being far apart and everything. But like that little extra step to the Scrabble board is like that maybe could be too much where he can't pull himself out of it and he's trying to, as you said, honor his friends, honor this competition they're doing, honor his grandmother and like this plan for his future and just everything, while also making sure that Prem stays sorry not Prem that Ten stays on his track as well, so that when they are both in a good place, that when they come together they won't have any regrets or anything, they won't feel bad, they won't have made any mistakes or caused problems with other people because of their relationship.
But it's really hard because they really want each other.
They really
It
want
is so
each
want
other.
to leave each other.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it's funny because um like yeah, Ted really wanted him to stay and everything. But then after this scene, we go back to Sam C and Mather, and I'm just like, this is the moment that no one was expecting. And interesting because all this stuff, I believe, was not in the it was not in the cut version at all. It was only in the uncut version. So I'm really confused because you need this scene if they are going to do something with Metha and Sam C. You need this scene to understand why and how it why it makes sense, why we would even want it. You need this scene.
Actually, I think if Metha goes to comfort Sam C,
it might still make sense.
They could make it work, because in all these scenes Sam C was not into it. He was not. He was pushing Metha
I don't
away.
know. I feel like in this particular moment, there's a moment where they're both kind of like, wait, what? But it's like, I get what you're saying. You could do it from a sweeter way, but I feel like it'll be missing a little bit because you have that nice, like, I guess, intellectual, like, oh, he's there for him, kind of side of it. But this was kind of like, sexual is the wrong word, but there's an awareness to this scene where they're just like, hello, like,
but you lose a lot of stuff in the cut version, so
so I'm curious to know whether or not, I guess where I was going with this is if they are going to put Sam C and Metha together as a couple, as a pairing, which, oh my god, I ship so hard right now and I desperately need to have it. I'm like, I want it so badly.
I like, make everyone gay. I don't care. Make the grandma, make the father, make everyone gay, but make this
because we're literally
together.
Like we've had conversations in the past, like, why do they do this? It's so unnecessary.
Why
like,
is everyone gay?
It's not, it's not really realistic. Yes, gay people hang out with other gay people and they have other gay friends, but it's like, usually not everybody in their circle is gay, whereas GMM love to make them all gay. So but in this instance, we are like, full on, let's go gay, everybody gay, you get a gay, you get a gay, I get a gay, we all get a gay. Because this was brilliant. This was so good, and I had goosebumps when this happened. I was just like, oh my god, yes, this must happen. And for anyone who is unclear about what I'm talking about, it's the scene where Metha slips in the restaurant and Sam C catches him, and they just look at each other for a long, extended period of time before they both kind of freak. And in actual fact,
it's Sam C who freaks, actually.
I thought it was Metha who freaked first.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like I need to watch it now. I feel like he's like, he says something and then Sam C is like, what? And so like drops him. And then Metha's like, well, if you were going to drop me, why catch me in the first place? But like, I feel like
I don't remember him saying something, but maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I feel like he says something, or he like goes like, what? And tries to put, like, he pulls away. And when he does that, Sam C drops him. I don't know. I'm going to have to watch it again because now I'm curious. I'm like, it's just any excuse to watch it again, honestly. It was so fucking funny and so adorable.
And then another moment with them, Metha fixing the next morning, fixing the blanket on Sam C with a loving stare.
Yeah. I feel like let's come back to that because we have some other stuff in between that. But yes, because that scene was also like very, I don't know, interesting. I wasn't expecting it. We got the scene with the slip and the moment, like they had a moment. That's what it was. And like, I was like, wow, that was amazing. And it's probably all we're going to get. Like, I was like, ultimately in the beginning, I thought they've just done it for comic relief or whatever. But then it just gets better. Like, it got better.
And the love sign, I just cannot. I can't, like, the way he Sam C steps on his hand, right?
My heart is like so desperate for this now that I'm like this was the moment where I just started shipping them. So, but so we had, before that we had Ten and Prem again at on the blanket, because the last scene Prem wanted to leave because he knew that like Sam C was waiting for him and everything, and so he wanted to leave, and Prem wanted to leave. I mean, he didn't really, but he, like, once again, that responsibility to friends thing. And so
I
10,
had this thing. I have this thing with their names also. I want to say 10 and I say Prem. I want to say Prem and I say 10. It's a bit confusing.
I don't know why, but I keep wanting to call off Prem and Gun 10, and I do not know why. I do not know why. I'm like, yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, so I'm glad that I'm not alone. Like, I'm for real. It's just I'm usually really bad. I'm bad with names and stuff anyway, but like they're really easy names to say and remember. And
Yeah, yeah.
and still I'm struggling. But anyway, yes. So Prem wants to leave, and Ten's like doesn't want to let him go, and so he talks him into like just staying there for 5 minutes with him. They also share a really cute kiss in that scene too. Like, once again, the kiss is what sort of prompts the almost Scrabble playing. So yeah, so after we have this really adorable moment with Metha and Sam C, we go back to Ten and Prem, and we had Ten and Prem wake up, and Prem's like, holy fuck, I fell asleep, kind of thing. And he wants to leave again, and of course, once again, Ten does not want him to go. So we get all of the cute little soft, like, pet kisses. Yeah.
They're really cute. I have
And
nothing to
also,
say about this.
no, and
They're just
also,
very cute.
yes, but anyway, so there was just a really cute, like, interlude moment with them, which basically was the result of was that Prem was feeling that obligation again to leave, and Ten was like, please don't go. But then he was like, I know I have to sort of, let you go or whatever. And then we went back to Samsey and Metha, and it's the like next morning, and this is the moment you were talking about, where like Metha is leaning over Samsey and lovingly tucking him in with this look. I cannot describe the expression. Can you describe the expression that is on Metha's face? Like, I don't even know. It's like
Adoration is like, I
yes,
don't know.
yeah, it's kind of like that. It's so funny. Like, I feel like it was that moment where he's like looking at him, and he's just like, he's so cute when he's asleep or something like that. I do not know. Like, it had
Yeah.
such a vibe to it. It was just like so
And when
funny.
yes, and when Sensi wakes up and he gets startled and like slaps the hell out of Meta, and like he doesn't even get mad. He doesn't even like he has nothing against it, which is like
he's just like,
everything.
ow, I wasn't doing anything. Like, he's like more
To
hurt than
accept
anything.
everything.
Yeah,
And
he's
then he
more.
starts crying, like your friends have ditched you, and it's like I was just like, is he for real or is he mocking him? Because he already knows how devoted Samsi is, and I think he appreciates that. And he
Yeah.
probably admires this quality of his, and he would feel sorry for Samsi regarding this, which like will make a lot of sense in the next episode if like they are going to have a talk, right? Now that Samsi doesn't talk to his friends, he's going to talk with Metha, and Metha is
Yeah,
going to
I feel like
understand.
he's going to have to, yeah.
Yes, it's kind of a setup. And I was like, he's actually crying for him or something. What the hell is going on?
I have to say though there as well, like their comedy together is so great as well. Like, they have this amazing chemistry where
They do.
they're just so hilariously funny. Like, and they do, as you said, like when he gets hit in the face and all that, he's just like, why? Like, why? I wasn't doing anything. And then they start bickering again. They switch back to the bickering like an old married couple. And we have Fire yelling at Dynamite on the phone because they're trying to hide that they're dating. And then, as you said, like Samsey is looking for Fire, and of course, not Fire. Samsey's looking for Dynamite, and Dynamite's like downstairs. So he goes downstairs, and he stabs on Metha's hand or whatever. And once again, there's no like real like, what are you doing to me? Like, how could you or whatever? It's like he pulls the hand up, and it's in the "I love you" sign.
And it's like, yeah, I guess that looks right. So that seems about
Yeah, the
right.
way he
He
looks
kind of
at it,
accepts
yeah,
it.
he kind of like nods, like he's like, yeah, okay, that sounds like, yeah, that seems right, yeah. And it's just like, it's so hilariously funny. They're just so,
It's so
it's like
cute.
they were definitely a highlight in this episode for sure. And then we got
Yes.
Dynamite yelling at Fire because once again he did not want to. Like he was actually angry because he didn't know why Fire had been yelling at him. And then Fire being
I'd
all
be scared.
soft.
Dynamite's face.
Yeah.
When he gets angry with Fire, like, oof, yeah.
I
wonder
love how
why.
Fire gets all soft though with him, and then Dynamite of course just melts because like he was not expecting it or whatever. And then we had Sam C, and Sam C's like, what's going on, sort of thing, and Dynamite starts yelling again. Poor Fire, he has no idea what's going on.
I think you kind of exaggerated with how passionate he was when he was lying to Sam C.
Oh my god,
This
I love
can be explained as a reason why Sam C would be disappointed, because he did
yeah,
not have to be
no,
that extreme in his reaction. I
yes,
mean, it's understandable for him because he's high on emotions, and this thing is happening. You know, he knows he has to hide this. He has his reasons,
mm.
but from Sam C's point of view, it's understandable why he'd get upset in the end.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that happen in this, is in that it's not even about necessarily, and which maybe Sam C might, I don't know whether whether it will be included in what Mathis says to him or whatever, but like it's not like Dynamite's like, I don't want you to know we're dating, because like he's been very
Mm-hmm.
upfront from the beginning, especially with Sam C,
Mm-hmm.
about how much he likes Fire rather,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's because it's like it's not his secret to tell. Like Fire
Yeah.
isn't someone who's out, isn't, whatever. So he can't, especially if Fire has asked him not to tell anybody or whatever, then
Mm-hmm.
he has to honor that, because besides being like, it's not a choice about like your boyfriend over your friend or whatever. This is a very important thing. It is not his secret to tell. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the same reason why Prem doesn't say anything. It's not about keeping a secret from Sam C. It's really not his secret to tell either.
Yeah.
There's a different level to it. It's not just about, this person's dating this person or whatever. We get the line from Sam C where he says, your level of cursing him out has escalated. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. I've got such a strong friend. So it's like, oh, yeah. but I just love that line. Your level of cursing him has escalated, because obviously Samsey has been witness to some very impressive like cursing of Fire on Dynamite's part. But yeah,
Then we get Stan and Pram comes early in the morning to make breakfast for 10, and
so
it's
domestic.
yes, it's very cute, but also the glove,
Mm-hmm.
the oven mitten, is fixed and ready to be used. And if it's a symbol of their relationship,
Yeah.
it's a sign of what's to come.
Yeah.
It's ready. They're both ready for this, to make this step.
Yes, it's interesting too, because if you're actually really looking at it as a symbol, like and about them, as you said, it's being fixed and them being together and all the rest of it, they are literally together on there. There are little like faces of them included in the decorations of the oven mitt. So
Mm-hmm.
it not only is it an actual like symbolic thing, but it's visually symbolic as well. This episode, this part of the episode, like once again, this is another bit where I kind of got pulled out of the scene for a second, and this is just because it's a weird thing about the way my brain works. So okay, I found it really interesting. It's not really interesting, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So okay, so I haven't really mentioned this, I don't think, but I'm a K-pop fan as well as a BL fan, and in K-pop stuff, I'm used to them using sponsors and stuff, but I'm used to them being really like purposefully not sponsoring stuff that they're not getting paid for. Like they'll blur stuff out or they'll like whatever. And one of the things
Mm-hmm.
I noticed, and I love seeing it because I thought it was really interesting, was when Prem is cooking, all of the sauce bottles and all of the like I guess seasonings or whatever are all turned facing away, so you can't actually see the brands on the labels. And then of course, so
Mm-hmm.
the only brand you're actually seeing is the stuff that's sponsored in the show, so like the eggs and the
Mm-hmm.
sausages and that. So I just thought that was just like one of these really kind of like little things that I noticed that I thought was interesting. um and yeah, then we had this whole, it was just, there was this scene where like when Ten came in with the oven mitt and Prem is standing at the stove cooking and he's watching him and he just has this like, yes, this is the way I want my life to go. Like this is my future. Like I really felt that in this scene.
Yeah.
And
Which
because
is
then I
accentuated when he actually has the vision
Yes,
From
yes,
like
yes.
another life.
That's right. It's almost like they went, "Oh, if you missed his facial expression,
Yes.
if
Yeah.
you didn't quite get the nuance of this scene, let's
Uh-huh.
spell it out for you in this like
Uh-huh.
comedic version." So yes, of course, Prem brings the food, which is eggs and the name of this episode is something like uh cooked egg and I don't know, I can't remember, but it's like toppings, assorted toppings or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so he brings the breakfast over, and yeah, Ten tries it, and he has that vision. I'm like, why are Offgun always growing old together? It happens a bunch. And we had it in Our Sky as well, where they like at the end of that they got really old, and there was
Well, now you're making me expect this for Sean and Wyatt. Where is it? Where is it?
I
Give
don't
it to
know.
me.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, season 2 of Not Me, please, Pinucci. I'm still like, I will go to my grave being like, I'll be on my deathbed and I'll be like, season 2 of Not Me, Pinucci. I won't be around to see it, but please make it.
I'll come back and haunt them.
That's
I'll
right.
be
I'll
with
come back.
you
I'll work it out.
after I die.
Reincarnation. Yeah. I'm like, I believe in reincarnation. Let's do it. When I get here, I expect to see the Todd Black stuff. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so we had this like whole moment where they're being cute, and he had this like growing old thing, and then the bit with the sausage.
Oh.
I'm
I
just
don't
like,
even know.
I'm just like, I feel like the kiss and eating half the sausage. It sounds really gross, but it was just like this wasn't like how close can we get without touching. This was like I don't know. This was like Ten opening his mouth and like about to devour Prem whole, and but all he ended up with half the sausage. Like I'm just like this scene was just like, okay, this is why you guys are not allowed to be left alone in a room together, because you know it's
Alone, please. It's like they don't even care if they're alone. Remember
true.
the scene
We find
later.
that later on. We find that in the episode. They don't really care. Anyone is fair
That's
game at
not
this
an
point.
obstacle.
Yeah, they're about to have a threesome with an unwilling participant. But it's just so funny because like he does it. He's like, Prem is like, what the fuck was that? They're like not in a like pity the kiss. They both scream, but Ten is way more brave, I guess. But they both scream like huge virgins. But like in these moments we have with Prem, he's just like, I don't know what happened just then, but I liked it. But I don't know, I can't like it. What's going on? It's just so funny. And then of course we had the whole sauce mishap with the cute hair washing scene. Like really, like and suddenly the shower's not working, so you must wash my hair out in the garden. But it was very
Was
cute,
it
and they
not
had some
working?
real.
I think it was working, but they just decided to do it that way. Prem wanted to do it that way.
No, Ten actually says something like, "I had just had a shower and the shower it was working perfectly fine, but now suddenly it's not," or something. He does actually say something about the shower not working.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's unless I'm once again I'm hallucinating. I don't know. There was another thing we weren't sure about earlier, and I'm like, now did I hallucinate that as well? Oh, the bit with Metha and that, and the letting him go. But yeah, so they had this. This is a really cute scene actually, because we had all the like, you know, cute little things where Ten is Prem is like, close your eyes so you don't get soap in them, and Ten's like, no, I'd rather look at you, and we get the cute little sniff kisses from Prem to Ten and all that. But they actually do have some real talk here, which was really nice.
And then we jump in time. We get a montage of time passing, them communicating, them being apart.
Yes.
The scene where Prem catches fire and die under a bridge, of course. Bridges are something
Yes.
here in the series. I think they represent relationship and how they I mean bridges can be used as a metaphor very easily, but
Mm-mm.
a lot of stuff is happening on bridges. And
Yes.
fire and ice are under a bridge. They're hiding
Yeah.
their relationship.
Yeah, and it's and we get the reason straight away. Like Fire says, like, I don't want my mum to find out. You know, this fear that he has. So it's kind of communicated straight away.
I'm
Um,
very curious. I'm very curious to see how this plays out because I see when we find out that Dynamite will not judge, like when he tells Fire his story,
yeah,
how when he came out to his parents, his dad stopped talking to him, and he never talked to him since. So this is why he's alone.
yeah. And this is
It I
why Dynamite gives Fire so much leeway in his journey
Yes,
because
he
he
will not
understands
judge
him.
him. He will not judge him for not telling his mom. He will not judge him if he never tell his mom.
Well,
And
I almost wonder now if we won't get a negative response from her because we're expecting a negative response from her.
no, we're not. No, we're not.
I kind
Are
of am.
we?
Well,
I
I
was
mean, I
like,
guess.
now I want Fire's mom to love Dynamite even more,
Oh yeah,
knowing
yeah.
his
Well, we
history.
talked about
And what if like there's a scene which, for example, where Dynamite's dad appears and or something like when we see Fire's mom comfort Dynamite and become like a parent who's there for Dynamite, like a
Yeah,
parent
I would
parent.
love that. It would be really nice if we actually had a scene because I mean, I on one hand I really want her to like Dynamite and I want her to be fine, and it would make sense for her to be fine with them because like they're both kind of low key expecting her not to be fine. Like Dynamite's witnessed her behavior, Fire is clearly afraid of it.
Well, and
Um,
also now it makes so much sense that when the way he came when Fire's mom was at his apartment and he was being all shrill and whatever,
mm,
and Dynamite appeared with this like determined look on his face, like I know what I'm doing. I'm going to fix this for you. Now it
yeah,
makes so much more sense.
it does, and it's like so we're kind of, on one hand I'm kind of expecting her to be negative, but I'm also like kind of hoping in the reverse, like we've talked about, that it would be great if she isn't, because and I feel like it's a nice twist because if people haven't really thought about it too much, they also may be assuming that she will be negative about it. But like to have this flip side where we're expecting it because they're both expecting it. You know, what happened with Dynamite's father, we're expecting it to be negative, and then for it not to be negative, like, or if the reason why she has an issue with it has nothing to do with the fact that, like, they're both boys, it's like more like, once again, she's concerned about the studying thing or like whatever. Like, she has concerns, but it's for a different reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, I, I also could enjoy a scene, I feel like, where either she finds out and Fire freaks and so he like hides or whatever, and Dynamite actually has a conversation with her about like what happened between him and his dad and like how they
Hmm.
haven't spoken since, because I feel like from a mother's standpoint, like even if something like that shocked you and you were having trouble dealing with it, hearing this story from this person who hasn't spoken to their parent like since that happened, like I feel like, you know, unless you were, I don't know, you didn't have a good relationship, or you truly weren't open, and you maybe, you know, I don't know, I
It
can't
puts
understand.
it puts it into perspective.
Yeah, I feel like it
Hmm.
would push you to go, well, you know, I might not be 100% okay with this, but I don't want you never to speak to me again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could see potentially that. And that also would make her look at Dynamite a certain way too. Like, as you said, we might get a cute scene where she acts motherly towards him because he's, you know, she's aware of his situation. So that's an interesting, because I said this, all these like kind of things that I'm like tacking onto my wish list. I'm like, there's only 3 episodes and we now want, you know, a successful and happy ending for Ten and Prem. We There needs to be some sort of resolution, I guess, with the father. um the
The father and the chef, something's going to happen because it was set up with the
That's right.
basil and it
Yes.
was not
Yeah.
resolved yet. Yeah.
I'm guessing that probably something is going to happen. You know, we have that like episode 10, episode 11 curse thing. Something's obviously going to happen that is going to fracture them in some way. Potentially, and then it might get exacerbated by like the stuff with the chef, maybe, I don't know, or maybe that won't happen at all, because we kind of already had that with the stuff with the father, and then them having their little kind of like really emotional scene where they decided to take this break and be apart and everything. So we kind of already had the like big dramatic separation thing quite early. It's interesting. It's like they've gone, okay, well, let's do this bit now and we'll do the
Mhm.
Scrabble scene later. And it's like they just like mixed everything around on the
I feel like
on the
I
table
feel
like
like
puzzle pieces.
I feel like there's no need to do more
More drama.
stuff, more
No.
conflict with the father.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I feel like the father will be convinced by Tan's efforts,
Yes.
and he will just something will happen, and he will um show Tan that he actually accepts him the way
Yeah.
he is, and that he'll show his support to Tan.
Yeah. At this
Maybe
point we need the
something with that doctor, but if he's leaving, how will he know? I mean, I don't know. It depends. It can go different directions.
Yeah, or maybe we won't even get a confrontation with the chef stuff either, because maybe the chef. I'm assuming the chef is going to be at this competition.
I think we are, because in the original trailer, like a lot of stuff that happened in the original trailer happened in this episode, in this series.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment when Pram 10 10 hits the chef, hits Shangma in the original trailer. So something has to
Ah,
happen.
maybe. But then once again, maybe they won't. Maybe that's a fake out, and they decided not to include that. It's hard to know, but like, because I'm wondering, because we're going to get this scene where it's the competition, and Ten is there, and Ten is clearly
Mhm.
supporting Prem, and obviously the chef knows that they have a relationship, whatever that is. But I feel like either immediately after that or before, and it's not really very clear because the trailer makes it seem like it's after, but they like to mess with the timelines in this show. It could be before the competition is when they officially become boyfriends. Um, and so he could potentially, if this is done near where like the competition happens or whatever, he could potentially witness this, or maybe that's after some confusion or something. I don't know. It'll be
I
interesting to
remember we
see.
had theories. We had theories that maybe Shangma will tell Tan that, look, he's failing and it's your fault.
Yeah.
And right now, he could do that and say that, look, it's your fault that the group fell apart.
Mm-mm.
For example, in the next episode, I'm trying to fit what we theorized with what's happening right now. This is one way that I could see it going, but I don't really know how they get there. So I'm not sure. This series is very hard to predict.
Yeah, well, because as I said, like in the trailer, we get this scene where they basically decide to be boyfriends officially, and they're all sweet and it looks all romantic, and it looks like it happens after the competition. But that could actually
Mhm,
happen before the competition. Then the
mhm.
competition could happen, some confusion could happen, maybe they don't win, whatever, and then what you're talking about could then happen, and that could be our episode 10 ending with some drama that needs to be fixed in episode 11. So that's a possibility as well. Like,
I think they will win the competition, but maybe there's like something um before the competition. Maybe
yeah,
there's something because the competition has to happen on television, right? And
yeah,
what we
I'm not
saw
sure.
in
I
the
think
next
so.
episode, that's not
Yeah,
not no.
I don't know. Yeah, I assume so, but it's not really clear in the episode whether it's being filmed
Hmm.
or not, so it's hard to know. The other thing is they've done a very good job of not showing Sam C in this, so we don't really know if he's there or not.
Hmm.
So that's the other thing that could be a drama, because like, I could also see the chef being like, look at what's happened to their group. This is because, blah, blah, blah.
Because
Whereas
of
in
you.
actual fact, it's only like 10 is only a small part of what's going on between the three of them. And it's not even about really 10 or Fire. It's about the fact that Sam C feels betrayed by his friends. Or not even
Hmm.
betrayed, but like left out. Like he feels like he's been left out. Because he's actually doesn't have a problem with Fire and Dynamite being together. Because when he comes back to the apartment, like afterwards, he's all like, when he after he's seen them, like his first initial initial reaction seemed to be like, I thought he was going to be mad, but when he gets back to the apartment, he's all like a little kid who's got like gossip to share. Like, I'm going to tell you something you don't know, but of course Prem already knows. And as soon as he realizes that, that's when he's upset. And then when
I got a solution for him. I got a solution. He should get himself a boyfriend too.
yes,
And he will not be the odd one out anymore.
He needs to have his own secret boyfriend.
Yes.
That like very quickly gets revealed to their friends because they're all hopeless at keeping their boyfriend secret. Because I don't know, I feel like in this instance we might have a Metha might be the 10 in this relationship, where he's just like, can we play Scrabble? And Samsy will be like, no. After we eat. He's just like, we have to wait for our friends. But yeah, no, it's just, yeah.
The moment when Prem and Dynamite keep knocking on the door and calling for some C.
Yes.
Him, that was painful to watch.
It was
really painful.
Yeah. I was worried because 10 was looking on so concerned, and I'm thinking, please don't be blaming yourself. So, I mean, yeah, there's so much other stuff happened even before all that. Like, I just want to go back for a second to the bit that we were talking about where, like, we kept getting this, like, montage of scenes of, like, you know, Prem and 10 while they're apart. But it was really cute because I loved also how, like, in amongst all that, they were supporting each other. You know, like, I liked the way they were talking to each other, like, oh, you need to go and, you know, do you need to go and do this, or, you know, do this well, or, you know, whatever, and all that sort of stuff. I really liked that. And I also love when 10 was like whining about how he was starving because there's no one there to cook for him anymore. And Prem says to him, don't say that, I'll get worried or something. He goes, oh no, I just wanted your sweet sympathy or something. It's very cute. But I also was like, I feel like I need to mention it because we talked about it, I think, in the last podcast, but I think we discussed it, unless it got edited out, I don't know. But we did talk about, like, what the bit in the trailer was where I said it looked like Dynamite was laying on Fire's lap.
Yeah.
And so we got that under the bridge, and I was just like, it just had that vibe. Like, I was sure that he had to be there. But yeah, and it was funny because we worked out, because remember you said, oh, I think it's in the trailer or something, and we went and watched it in the trailer, and it wasn't in the trailer, and we were just like, and you're like, I know, I saw it.
It was in the preview.
Yeah, no, wasn't it in the? Isn't it? Didn't you say it's in the
in the intro? It's in the intro. Not in the preview.
Yeah. And you're like, so I did see it. So that was really funny because when we were watching it, that was like one of the messages that you sent me. You were like, it was in the intro part, and I was like,
yes.
Oh wait, what are you talking about again?
I'm not that crazy. We're not
right.
about it, at least.
Yes. So, and I also loved the bit where 10 shows up, because we had this conversation where Prem obviously has this secret now because he discovered Dynamite and Fire, and so he really wants to tell 10, but he like restrains himself. And I love he's like, if you want to know, you need to come back here. I guess he figures probably because they're not that great at hiding that eventually they're going to get sprung by the others anyway. But it's not his place to tell. And 10 has this secret because he's coming home and he doesn't tell him. And so when he arrives there, and they're so happy to see each other, like, it's so stinking cute, like how happy they are to see each other. And the way that Prem says to him, how did you get here? And he's not, for once, Prem is not being sassy. He's like, just like, no, sorry.
Giddy.
Yeah, he's just giddy, right? And then we get 10's response, which is by car, which, like, I laugh so hard at. Because, once again, he's also not being sassy. He's just, like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's being, not logical, but, like, factual. He's just, like he answered, like, in the most factual way. But it just reminded me of, like, when people are being sassy when they're asked, like, stupid questions, because my family love to ask me what I'm doing when I'm clearly, like, you know, reading a book or, like, whatever. My response is always knitting a sweater because, like, well, obviously I'm not. knitting a sweater. But
Uh-huh.
it had vibes of that. But I love that there was the irony for me was it wasn't that at all. Like he was just being like, "Oh my car!" Like he's like so earnest in his response. They're just really cute. They're just really really cute. But yeah, we talked about the scene where um basically Dynamite. It's so funny because this scene is really interesting because he snuck out to meet Fire when he's meant to be hanging out with Samsi and Prem, and so in that respect it's kind of immature, whatever behavior and like this lying and sneaking around and all that. But then we get the story about like how, as we talked about before, about how when he came out to his father, and this broke my heart, about how he hasn't spoken to him since, and I was reminded about our conversation about like he probably won't be mad with Far if he flakes or whatever because of his mother, because he'll understand, he'll feel bad for him, and it just reminded me once again that he's such a mature character. Like it's just, he has like a lot of depth for someone that I really wasn't expecting it in the beginning, and so I
Yeah,
love that.
me too. I did not expect him to become such a good, interesting character.
Yeah, he has a lot of layers to him,
Yeah.
and also it's interesting because the character himself is young, and the actor who's playing the character is also young, and he's doing a great job. I think this is his first
Yeah.
thing. Like he's doing a really good job for this being his first acting job. And I could be wrong about that. I'm like,
He's very charming.
yeah, he's very very charming. Um, and so yeah, then there was, of course, as I said, we had that whole bit with Samsey, and it's so kind of like, you know, it was hard to watch actually when Samsey kind of realized that he was like in the, like out of the loop, so to speak, especially because that's not their intention. Like it wasn't their intention. But when
Hmm.
he, as I said, when he came back to his unit, his apartment, whatever you want to call it, um and meanwhile, while he's gone, like Tan and Prem are like trying to play Scrabble on his couch, and they get totally sprung, which I the facial expressions here just kill me. But anyway, um, as I said, he's excited. He's like, I've got a secret. I'm going to tell you something. This is really cool. And yeah, when he
It
sees,
was just, it was the last straw for him.
yeah, but no, I feel like that was like that upset him. But then Dynamite came in and like lied to his face,
Hmm.
and that was really it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, or whatever that, however that saying goes. It was like the last thing, like the cherry on the top that just, yeah. And so, and then to actually like drag him to Fire's door and like perpetuate this like idea of lying, and you gotta love Fire opening the door being like, "Oh hi baby, did you miss me?" Like whatever he said, like he's just like, dude, you have no spatial awareness. He's like, I feel like if they get caught by his mother, it's probably going to be his fault.
I felt uncomfortable in that moment. It felt very, very, very bad. And
Yeah,
like you cannot judge any one of them, but I felt very uncomfortable when that happened.
it did. It was a
I
horrible scene,
felt
and
like
it's
that.
funny because
Yeah.
I feel like, like you could see it, and once again I feel like this was really good acting on Off's part. You could see on Ten's face that like he was uncomfortable that he was even there viewing, because this is
Hmm.
something clearly a private thing between the three of them. This is not something that really should have been witnessed by other people. um and it's like, but at the same time, like you have to feel a part of it because you know you insinuated yourself into this, but then at the same time, the two of them hadn't really done anything wrong. Like he had Off hadn't really done,
Hmm.
not Off, Ten hadn't really done anything wrong. Yes, he sort of
Hmm.
like tried to hijack their whatever, but he didn't know about any of this other tension that's going on. He just like wanted to see
Hmm.
his boyfriend, or well,
Hmm.
almost boyfriend. And and Samsey didn't have an issue with that initially. I mean, he was a bit like,
Yeah.
geez, guys. Like, I also think it's really interesting that he was like, okay, like just do it in front of me or whatever. Like, which is such a, like, when you're a single person and you're around a couple and they do stuff like that, you're like, okay, just us single people over here are just gonna go over there and do something else. Like, it's, once again, I'm just like, give him a boyfriend and make him Metha. But yeah, like he's just like, he had no issue with that initially. It's like, that's no, I was concerned that Ten was going to take it on to being it's his thing, like
I think he's too determined to be together with Bram to
it is too. And
consider
ultimately,
that an
yeah,
obstacle.
ultimately it had nothing to do with him. It was about being like not
And
knowing.
he knows Bram tried so
Yes.
hard. He knows. So it's the circumstances that worked against them in this moment.
Mm-mm. Yeah. And as I said, I feel like I'm hoping someone will say it. I'm hoping, because I feel like it's an important distinction. Yes, this was horrible to see. I completely agree with you. And it, like, I honestly feel like there's no real reasons ever to lie to a friend unless you're actually protecting them for some reason. And even then, if it was me, I'd rather know. So I'm the kind of friend who, like, I will tell you if you have a booger hanging out of your nose or something in your teeth, because I would want you to do the same to me. So, and okay, that's not like a serious thing. That's like a superficial thing. But like, that's what I mean. Like, if I feel like sometimes it's better to know, because it hurts more if you find out someone could have given you information you needed, or like whatever, and they didn't. Sometimes that hurts more than the actual bad thing that happened. So, because they feel betrayed on top of that by the person they care about, by their friend or like whatever. So I don't know. It's a tricky one, but I definitely feel like it's important, and I really hope that someone mentions the fact that this was not either of their place to tell necessarily, because it wasn't just about them dating. There's a story in there as well. There's part of Fire's story in there that's not their story to tell. So I
Yeah, no,
kind of,
because this is like I understand some C, but this isn't this was piling up for him. It
it
just
was. I feel like he feels there's other stuff though that factors into it that I don't think has anything to do with them. It's his own insecurities, because like
mhm.
this is like his what,
He's
like fourth or
older.
fifth like
Yeah.
university degree and like career choice or whatever. And so he feels the pressure every time someone makes fun of him or like jokes about his age or whatever. And I feel like he's really serious about this, and this is a career that makes sense to him. His parents own this
Mhm.
restaurant. He has like a future where he could take that over, or make it a name for himself, like whatever. He seems to really, so he's taking it really seriously in a way that the other two are now a little bit distracted, because it's not the only thing they've got in their life. They've still got a bit of room to play and move, and even though Prem is really serious, it's a bit different for them, whereas he's hyper fixated on that. So in actual fact, Metha is
Think
probably a good thing for him.
yeah, I think he'll understand that he cannot be mad at Brahman and Dynamite for hiding this because it was not their secret to
Yeah.
tell. And if you are a friend, if you have friends, that just you cannot if someone trusts you with some kind of information, and you care about that person, you don't tell that to anyone. You don't tell that to another friend. You don't tell that to your like significant other. It's between the two of you, right?
Yeah. And I feel like this as
So
well, like because of what it is as well, this has the power to do irreversible damage to relationships in Fire's life. Like he needs to be the one to make that decision and to take that risk. And that's
mhm.
also a factor in it as well. And like I can see people maybe we might have a listener or something who might go, oh yeah, but like it's not like Sam C is going to go and tell Fire's mother or whatever. But like shit happens. People say things without thinking when they know stuff. When we have information, we don't always
Well,
like.
no, there was just Dynamite and Fire being involved in this, and they accidentally got caught by Prem. Two
That's
people.
right.
Now there are five, or how many?
Yeah,
Five people, right? Who
yeah,
know, who can
that's right.
accidentally get discovered somehow that they know they have this information. So
That's right. Yeah,
this is what happens.
yeah. And this is the other thing. The other thing is with this too, with Samsey knowing, like, yeah, okay, so Samsey is unlikely to be like, oh, hey, Fire's mum, guess what? Did you know that your son's gay and that they're dating? Like, that's not going to happen. But they live in the same apartment building. She knows what Dynamite looks like. Samsey doesn't know what Fire's mother looks like. It would be really easy for them to be get into a lift together or something, or even him by himself, and he'd be on the phone talking about Fire and Dynamite or something to Prem or whatever, and she's in the lift there. Like, that's all it would take.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
Fire's fear and the reason and this idea that, as I said, it's not their secret tale. It's I think it's valid. So hopefully that will get discussed. I mean, I don't know whether it will, but I like the idea of Method being the voice of reason for Samsey, but also being like,
I cannot wait for their moments together
yeah,
now.
I'm so looking forward to it, because as I said, I feel like Samsey is taking himself so seriously
Yeah.
because he has all these other, like, self-doubt, self-issues, whatever. I would love for him to just be completely distracted and just be like, and have Method
Mm-hmm.
just be like, you're awesome, because I feel like that is like the look that we were getting. Like, the tucking in look was just like, he's amazing, look how cute he is while he's sleeping. Like, I was just like, as I said, the scene before the moment with the catching him and all the rest of it, I was just like, this could just be comic relief, but this was brilliant. I love it. I wish more was happening. I don't know we're gonna get it. And then we got the blanket tucking in scene, and I was like, please let them have them go there. And then we had the I love you thing with the hand, and I was just like, please, I'm shipping them so hard. I need this so bad. My life will not be complete without this. But now, as I said, 3 episodes to go. We have their storyline. We have Fire and Dynamite's storyline with the mother. We have Ten and Prem and the father, and the cooking thing, and the chef, and, you know, all this stuff. And it's just like, and potentially a side story with the doctor now, and just like, it's just, there's a lot to do in 3 episodes. I think they can do it. They've done a really good job of putting. It's really funny. I don't know if you would agree with this, but I feel like the episodes, like, every week we think we're gonna have trouble talking about it, because they're doing drama really well, and they're doing the humor really well, and it's just like, you watch it, and even when it's dramatic and you feel bad or you feel sad, like, it's always also an episode that's packed with, like, humor and sweet romance, and, like, you come away going, I really liked it. There was all these good things that happened, but you're like, I don't know that I really have much to say about it. And then you and I come and talk for like 2 hours. But but it's like, I feel like they're really good at putting a lot of stuff in the episode without you even realizing they've done it. Like, there was an episode a few episodes ago where I was just like, nothing really much happened in this episode, but, like, when we sat down and talked about it, I realized a shitload of stuff happened in that episode. Like, it was like it kind of all flew under the radar a little bit, because it was all really soft and sweet, or it was all really,
Yeah.
and it's just like, you don't realize how much they're
Like
packing in
they
there.
go through things very easily somehow.
Yeah.
You don't the weight of it. You move on. You're like, they transforming us into a meta. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
fine.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's right. He is the Memphis of the show at this point. It's interesting because as I said, I wonder if they'll be able to continue that through these final 3 episodes, where we, and the fact that it does seem like they've shuffled the normal, plan or something. If we don't get a bad thing, it happens at the end of next episode, and we don't get a bad thing in episode 11. Well, like, that the episode where they, I guess you could say it was the breakup episode. They didn't break up because they weren't together, but that's kind of what it felt like for a bit, until you realize that that's not what was actually happening. But that was like a really emotional episode. That was almost, it definitely does feel like the normal episode, like 10, 11 of a drama, where you have that, and then they give you this, like, the cute episode that we had this episode, where, like, it was almost like they couldn't be apart, so they get back together. Like, that was almost like the fix it. Like, it felt like this was the fix it, but then we still got 3 episodes to go. So I'm really curious to see what they do, whether they do pull more drama into it, or whether it's going to be, especially from the Ten and Prem standpoint, whether it's going to be more of a, like, them achieving their goals. Like, maybe they win the competition. 10 realizing that, like, to be
they
a really good
defeat the chef monster, like the chef
yeah,
danger in the
that's right.
relationship, the dad
And
danger.
yeah, but also, like, to to have this like lesson, I guess, learned that to be a good doctor doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to save everybody. If you don't save everybody, that doesn't make you a bad doctor. You have to try. Like, as long as you try and you do your best, and your goal is to try and save everybody, then you're a good doctor. You know what I mean? If you make a difference, like even if you give someone another day, that's like, sometimes people, when you're really sick, like, you get to a point where you've had enough, or you've been fighting for a long time. All you want is one more day. If you can get a day, like, that's a huge win for some people. And it's like, but even just that, like, if he can get that lesson as well, and then you have the resolution with the father, and maybe that will be tied into that, then we don't really need more drama in their story. So I'm curious to see, like, what will happen, how it will all pan out. Will 10 punch Chef? Will he destroy the basil plant? Will he now refuse to eat any recipes that are made by Prem that contain basil? Could you imagine he ate this thing and it was like made from, that had basil, and he's like, this is amazing. And it's like, and then he finds out that the basil came from from Chef Chiang Mai. He'd just be like, oh my god, like, you fed me his basil. How dare you?
Yeah.
He would like wage an all-out war on basil. There would be no more basil in like Bangkok. It would just be gone. It'd just be destroyed all over the place. He'd just buy all the basil from everywhere and just like have a big basil bonfire. But yeah,
So I guess that's it.
I think so.
Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yes, it's been fun.
Bye.
Bye.